Welcome to a very special live stream, guys. I'm your host, Taladia Plays, and we are going to be talking about Power Couples Unite, aka Superman and Wonder Woman in the New 52 series, uh, where they unite and become a power couple. So let me just put the banner in. Give me a second. There we go. But before we talk about the stuff, I got to bring on my co-host. You guys know him as Comics League. I know him as Jared. Let's bring him on the show.
If ever there were an appropriate time for that intro, that would be about it.
Yes. So we're here to talk about Superman One and Wonder Woman issue. Oh, great.
Issue 1.
Yeah, issue one. Is, is everything okay?
Yeah, everything's good. Everything is good. We probably froze. Internet issues, everyone. It's all good. Don't worry about it. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about Superman Wonder Woman issue 1. I have the trade here. I also have the comic on DC Universe Online. We'll wait momentarily for Taladia's internet to become operable. I'm sure he will be back soon. It's just the internet issues happen all the time. Hello, Taria. How are you? Okay, so it's all good. Taladia apparently has internet issues, which we have all been there in the content creating space. So I will just wait momentarily. Let me get this guy. Someone's having someone's having internet issues.
Hi, Tahira. Yes, she's someone I know. Hi, how you doing? You good? Yeah, so we're here to talk about Superman and Wonder Woman issue number one. So this is from the New 52, which is a comic, and Jared's probably got the comic, haven't you?
Multiple times.
Yes. So I read the reissue, read it up this afternoon. Spent um uh what's it called? Spent the afternoon reading up issue one. Let's kick it off right where it starts off. Right.
Okay, I already have it all plugged up. If you want, I can share my screen.
Yep. Sure. Go ahead. Share your screen.
First off, look at this amazing Tony Daniel art.
Yes.
This was written by Charles Sewell and Tony Daniel. Those of you that read Marvel's Darth Vader series are well familiar with Charles Sewell's writing. He's one of the best comic writers, I think, of all time. And we are going to be discussing issue 1. All right. So, by the way, this
Fantastic.
dope wraparound cover, by the way.
Fantastic.
So it starts off, Superman and Wonder Woman are just flying and they're kind of holding hands. So
yes.
Cool. And by the way, this is after Justice League 12. So they've kissed and they're in a relationship and everything. They're in, by the way. Again, Taladia, how awesome is that new 52 armor he's wearing?
Dude, I love the new 52 Superman.
It just looks so badass, dude.
It's really cool. The design looks great. Wish this was going to be the design for the new DCU movies.
We don't know, but James Gunn was smart. He would do that, but Lord knows I've been doubting that recently. But so they're in the middle of a hurricane, and yes, thank you. And it is so relevant right now since I just got back from managing hurricanes. But oh god,
yes.
So there's also a plane that's hey perp, what's up? Hitting like I take that chance. Oh my gosh. Nice.
And all other copyrights.
So Wonder Woman, so he's gonna go take care of the hurricane while Wonder Woman goes saves this plane that's crashing.
Yes.
So you see a little like portal opening in the middle of the ocean. So Superman's like, oh no, because he knows what it is. Then we cut to the civilian life. We have Cat Grant. Cat Grant was one of the Daily Planet reporters, but what had happened was her and Clark basically left the Daily Planet to form their own like internet news agencies called, I think it's like catclarktropolis.com or something like that. It's a really bad name. But anyway, so that's what you have to know. And this scene's very important. At the same time as this, Wonder Woman is training with Hesia, who is another Amazon that had left Paradise Island and can't go back. So she's talking about how, no, I mean, Wonder Woman is basically talking about, like, at this point in her book, her mother has been turned to stone and her sisters have been turned to snakes by Hera because, again, in this continuity, Wonder Woman is the daughter of Zeus. And obviously, Hera, wanting to be vindictive, takes out her frustration about her husband cheating on her yet again on Diana.
Yes, which
So,
is
and
wrong.
then at the same time, what we're alternating back and forth is we're seeing Diana and Clark have their two opposite like views of dating because Wonder Woman is used to being fully like open about who she is and what she in terms of the relationship she's in. And remember, I'm trying to get this fully full screen, but I remember Clark is used to like being Clark Kent, holding a part of himself back. So this is one of the good parts about this series. It shows about how they're different, and that's a stereotype that a lot of people think of when they think of Superman and Wonder Woman, that they're two alike. No, they are not.
No.
So she catches the plane, but at the same time, Clark is like launched out of the water like a missile. So she's like, "What the hell just happened?" And then he goes, I'll take care of the plane. There's a ship over there. You have to go take care of the ship." And then that same ship actually shoots her out of the sky. What's your favorite comic? This actually, as a matter of fact. So at the same,
This,
so yeah,
yeah, this is his favorite comic. Mine, I started to read up on this, started to really enjoy reading up on the comic, going back through it. And Jared is the first person to introduce me to Superman and Wonder Woman, actually. So,
after you guys
uh,
uh,
yeah,
making fun of me, but anyway,
yeah, for months on end, Jared, it's all in good fun.
months on all in good fun is the operative term. So for this one, so in this scene, so this is taking place immediately before they left for the hurricane. They have a date, and Superman brings her a flower from the fortress. This flower will be important when we get to volume 2. So he basically
Yes,
tells her, okay, so you have to go. It's a unique flower from the fortress. All you gotta do is water with oil. Oil is what like feeds it. So essentially, again, they're having a conversation about how they're different, and also how they're working on what's the word? There's they're like he's essentially teaching each other to open up more. Because remember, in Justice League 12, in that conversation on Lincoln Memorial when they first kissed, their whole thing was they can't feel close to each other. And so Superman gives Wonder Woman a gift from his culture. Wonder Woman decides, I'm going to give you one of mine. Wonder Woman's a warrior, so she wants to teach him how to fight with a sword. And here's the interesting thing about that sword, and that'll come together at the end of the season. This is what's the word? You gotta think. It's thin enough that it can cut individual atoms.
right. Yes.
Very important later. And by the way, he is vulnerable to this. But what do you think of Batman meeting Wonder Woman? Batman does not belong with Wonder Woman. Anyone that tells you that is
Uh,
wrong.
no, I mean in general, I think she
In
actually wants.
general, yeah, they work together as friends, and that's about it. I mean, they work well as teammates. Let me put it that way, because he's sort of more of the warrior, except she's more willing to actually kill.
Yes.
So at the same time, at the catclarktropolis.com website headquarters, Cat receives a letter in the mail. This will be important in a future issue. So Wonder Woman gets on that ship that shot her out of the sky and then tears the cannon off. And she goes, "I'm trying to help you and you shoot me." And then something lands behind her. All right.
She goes, "Yeah, you got a good point."
Doomsday lands behind her. Doomsday is the being that had killed Superman in the previous continuity. Now, for context, in the 90s they wanted to kill Superman. So they wanted to create a being that could do that, hence Doomsday. He's so powerful that if he dies, he comes back immune to whatever killed him in the past. So this is the first time we're introducing Doomsday in this new continuity, and this is also the first time Doomsday and Wonder Woman have really fought. And it is intense. Like, he even breaks her arm. And to give you an idea, Wonder Woman is as powerful as Superman.
As powerful.
As
Not
powerful. More. I thought Superman was killed by kryptonite. No, he's weak to kryptonite. He was killed by Doomsday.
yes.
The
Doomsday is
common confusion. Common confusion.
Doomsday is the individual that killed Superman in the early 90s. That's why hence the death of Superman.
Yeah, and then it's essentially, so what happens with this is, at the same time as this, we're flashing back to them at the apartment. They're having this conversation. Superman's like, "Oh, he's got a watchtower alert. There's a hurricane. They call me because I'm good with storms. You should come with me. I know we'll be working, but at least we'll be together." So it's like their way of trying to make time for each other.
Yes.
And then let me get to here. And then the issue ends with Wonder Woman beaten up by Doomsday. So Taladia, what do you think? Is
Yes.
that issue one? What do you think of issue one?
I loved it. I loved reading issue 1. I really enjoyed
Mm-hmm.
uh the backstory basically of like how each like Clark and Diana's, you know, relationship of how it kicked off.
And then
Um,
it was actually really good. Thank you, I appreciate that. But and the rest of the series gets really good, particularly volume
yeah,
one. I
yes.
bought this volume when it first came out. Because what
So
had happened,
character,
okay, so here's what happened for those of you that don't know. So early 2000s, DC was getting really confused with their continuity, so they wanted to completely reboot, refresh, pretend like we never published anything whatsoever. Well, actually, first, here's the thing. What volume is this one? It's volume one. It's volume one, Power Couple. So what had happened was DC wanted to revitalize Superman because they kind of sensed he was falling out of relevance, like I've been saying. So they started trying to change stuff, and that's where the new suit came from. That's where the not being married to Lois came from, because they thought, let's sort of revitalize Superman and kind of start fresh. And then they said, let's just redo this with the entire publishing line and completely reboot it. At the same time, DC was publishing this event called Flashpoint, where the Flash ran so fast he went back in time and saved his mom from dying, but that broke the timeline and led to like a really bad timeline filled with like death and destruction. Maybe we'll cover it at some point.
yes,
I covered it on my channel, but the point is, all you got to know is that the timeline was broken. And then haphazardly, before they finished the series, DC editorial went to the writer Jeff Johns and said, okay, this is rebooting the continuity now. End it with him showing up in new continuity. And that's where you get the new 52. And this is where you get like the younger version of these characters, because granted, Superman and Wonder Woman are like older than us. The movies are so different from the comics. In a certain degree, the comics are better, but I will say to Hira, if you want a good superhero movie, I know Taladi can back me up
yeah,
on this. Watch
yes.
anything directed by Zack Snyder. You will not
And
be disappointed.
you won't be disappointed, Ahira. Trust me. When I show you Man of Steel, BVS, Zack Snyder Justice League, you will like them.
Okay, and a lot of the storylines from this era of DC are represented in those movies. But
Yes.
so what happens is, so then DC was like, well, he's no longer with Lois. Who's the next logical choice for hell, there you go.
There
Who's the
we
next
go.
logical choice for Superman? And then they said, well, Wonder Woman.
Woman.
And
Yeah,
here's the
it's
thing.
obvious.
This had never been done before. They had done it before in Elseworld stories. In other words, stories not connected to the main continuity. But this is the first time it was mainstream that they decided, let's give Superman and Wonder Woman their own relationship and their own book. And what you have to understand about this book, despite what anyone will tell you, this was a massive hit. The first issue got over 100,000 copies pre-ordered. To
Wow.
give you an idea on this, Superman never gets to that point.
And
The
this
first issue.
sold a lot of copies I reckon worldwide, right?
Worldwide. Yeah, exactly. Worldwide. And so this was a really big deal. In fact, this is what also got me intrigued into DC, because at the time I was taking a comic book drawing class. I still can't draw for hell, but that's a story for another day. But I was on Facebook one day and it made headlines that Superman and Wonder Woman were going to be together and have their own book. So I'm like, okay, I'll give this one a try. I checked it out. And then I was like, immediately, well, first off, I had never been a big fan of comics Lois Lane. So she was gone from me in the very beginning. Then I read this and I'm like, this is way better.
And
And what's fun, you'll see sprinklings of the relationships in the Superman book and the Wonder Woman book as well in the new 52. It's not just in this.
and this is why it intrigued me when Jared told me, "Oh, you should check out Super Wonder, right? Superman Wonder Woman, right? Check out the book. Check out that because it sold a lot of copies." I'm like, "Okay, I'll check it out." I did, and my God, he
All right.
was right. You were right, and the other people were wrong.
What do you think of Batman vs Superman? Watch the Ultimate Edition. That's all I got to say. Hey, what's up, Tevia? Watch
Hey,
the Ultimate
Tevia,
Edition, Tahira. That's all I have to say about that. It's way better and it's awesome.
it's awesome. The Ultimate Edition for Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice is great.
So, again, so what had happened is that a couple years ago, I was posting on my day is going well, Tevy. Thank you. I was posting on the Comics League Instagram what people thought about Super Wonder versus Wonder Bat. And Wonder Bat is the romantic shipping of Batman and Wonder Woman, which makes no sense. But anyway.
Wait, I gotta play that clip. Where is it?
Why did you say that name?
Thank you. So
Batman doesn't do ships.
That's fun, isn't it? So anyway, okay. So I had put in there, in the new 52 Superman and Wonder Woman book, and then the number one response to that comment I got was there was a Superman and Wonder Woman book. So immediately called up Lad, and I was like, we're covering this. So we covered every single volume under Two Capes. Every single volume. Do you have any Funko Pops? Matter of fact, I do. I have a couple. So I have so first off, I have Darkseid and Desaad from the Snyder Cut of Justice League. And you will see that movie soon. I get the feeling you will end up seeing that movie soon.
Yes.
Black Suit Superman and Wonder Woman in her dress with the Amazonian arrow.
Yeah, that looks great, Jared. Like Funko Pops. You're addicted to collectibles.
Yeah, I even have a little model of the Batmobile from Zack Snyder's Justice League with the big ass artillery cannon right there.
Yeah, like he's got the little toy. What's up, Sean Franklin? How you doing, my dude?
What's up, dude? Yeah, so this series went on for about 5 volumes. And the thing about it, so volumes 1 and 2 are great. Volume 3 is okay. Thank you. Volume 3 is okay. Hey, Volume 4 and 5 are crime. Because here's the thing. They changed writers, and the writers was like and the new writer was like heavily Clovis, and he sabotaged the book. Yes, I am excited for that Wonder Woman video game. I will be streaming that.
Yes, so will I.
Mm-hmm. My brother has Flash, Batman, the Joker. Nice. Those are great ones.
Nice, Tahira.
I did. Yes, yeah, exactly, Tevia. That's when they put Tomasi on the book, and he basically I'm convinced he sabotaged the book. He sabotaged,
Yeah,
and then Charles Soule even said, yeah, they ended it because not because of sales, but because they
because
wanted to go in another direction. So in other words, DC took what worked
and
and tossed it,
threw it away.
threw it away. That's my problem. And then Tomasi even said, yeah, the main reason for that Superman Reborn book I did, where I merged the two, was to get rid of the Superman and Wonder Woman book. And by the way, they later referenced this book in DC continuity. That's how much of a mess DC continuity is. Because, yes, I know it's really stupid. This is how much of a mess DC continuity is. Are you ready? They retcon this book out of existence, and then they start referencing it in other books. So it either happened or it didn't happen. You got to pick one, DC.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
like me reading this comic, right? It was just like I was so intrigued and so invested in this, right?
Mhm.
And what makes me more interested is to read the other issues, the Superman comics, the New 52 stuff, and the Wonder Woman comics.
Because there's a moment, by the way, is really funny. In the Superman book, when we first see Superman, he's having dinner with Wonder Woman on the balcony of his apartment. And then she goes, Clark, okay, Clark, this was delicious. I have to go because I have to go fight some trolls. And then he kisses her and she goes, I all of a sudden don't have the urge to fight trolls anymore. And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love Superman Reborn. It's really awesome. Tons of fun. But Tavia, he didn't. Oh, okay, I can understand that, but the reason for that book was infantile and juvenile. That's why. That's why when Jay Heat and I did the New Direction universe. So for those that don't know, another friend of ours that we collab with on my channel, Jay Heat, he and I are doing a series called New Direction, where we are essentially creating our own DC universe based around in this era of DC. And we're repairing a lot of the bad decisions DC has made, and it would have sold gangbusters. So that's my plug for Jay Heat. Jay Heat, if you're watching this, I got you, bro.
New Direction.
New Direction.
Godzilla 2.
It's already done, and God Killer 2. I went a little too bloody with that one. To give you guys a tease, I'll give you a hint for you Green Lantern fans. Wonder Woman has great rage in her heart.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Taladia knows what I'm talking. I don't want to give it away because I want you guys to go and check out.
I'm going to go rewatch that. I'm going to rewatch that.
Oh, trust, and that was my idea, by the way, because I was like, in the circumstance in the story, how dope would it be if this happened? And this is going to have widespread ramifications for the New Direction universe later. But the point is, so here's the interesting thing. In the larger DC universe, this relationship actually spawned a team. So, Taladia, do you remember they also had a book called JLA?
Yes.
Led by Steve Trevor?
Yeah.
Do you know why that was formed?
Because Superman and
so in this volume, as a matter of fact, the relationship will leak out because right now they're trying to keep it a secret. So it leaks out, and the government gets concerned that if they breed, they'll all of a sudden have a desire to take over the earth. So, okay, so that inspires the U.S. government under Amanda Waller to create the Justice League of America, which is a group of superheroes designed specifically to counter each member of the Justice League. A few of them, I'm like, you picked the wrong people, but I'm like, oh, okay. But there's one part I won't stop you because at the end of the day, we all have. Yeah, exactly, Tabby, and that's the whole point. That's the whole point of the New Direction verse. I'm giving you both options. That was my problem with Superman Reborn. It took options away instead of giving everyone else, instead of providing options.
Go on.
Because what we did in the New Direction verse is we kept both Superman and had the post-crisis Clark, the pre-reboot Clark, mentor the young Clark.
Yes, that would actually work.
Because, hey, I thought that would be dope. Everyone's always telling me he's not acting like Superman. Have your favorite Superman mentor him. We have to we'll just open the door to Justice League America book, the New 52, which also didn't do well because that book ended with Forever Evil. Yeah, exactly. Well, it didn't end with Forever Evil. It took place during Volume
during,
2 took place during Forever Evil.
but
Volume 1 ended at Forever Evil. By the way, I have the trade for Forever Evil signed by the artist.
w- you're making me jealous. I
Yeah,
swear you are.
hang on, I'll grab it. I'll grab it. So here
If
it
you don't
is,
know, if you guys
Forever
don't know,
Evil, where
if you guys
the yeah, go ahead.
if you guys don't know, if you're new around here, Jared is a comic book collector. Basically, he collects every comic in the sun.
Mm-hmm. So this book was done by Jeff Johns and David Finch, and right here is David Finch's autograph.
You lucky, lucky guy.
Yeah, here's an example of his artwork.
You lucky guy.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. This is also meant to make Taladia super jealous. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but I have the action figures for Superman and Wonder Woman. And every time my dad comes into my room, he goes, "What's going on over there?"
No, but back to Superman Wonder Woman issue
Yeah.
1. I thought the artwork was great.
Tony Daniel, bro. Tony Daniel.
Yeah, that artwork was really well done. I felt like the issue was like the whole panel just popped out, stand out really well.
Oh, there is some really good. There is some gold that show up later in the book. And by the way, to give you a tease for next week, the next issue has my favorite Superman moment of all time. Trust me, this is badass. In which I talked about in New Direction. But yeah, so essentially, yeah. So what we're so let me ask you this, Taladia. So
yeah.
your thoughts on the story so far?
I thought so far I really enjoyed the dynamic between Superman and Wonder Woman's,
Mm-hmm.
Interaction. Look, I also really enjoyed Cat Grant's, kind of introducing that other guy. Felt that was a bit funny. Um, Obviously no Batman reference, so that was interesting. There was no Batman reference in there. Um,
He shows up later in the series and he has another great moment. This book is literally chock full of fantastic moments.
yes. So when I read the first issue, I was just like blown away. Definitely, definitely recommend people reading issue 1 and
Mm-hmm.
picking it up, because if you're huge into your Superman or huge into your Wonder Woman and you want to find out what the New 52 is all about,
Well, not only
fe-
that, this book actually breaks down Superman and Wonder Woman's characters simply. So I could show you this and you'll get Superman and Wonder Woman
to a T,
to a T,
basically.
100% to a T.
Yeah. So that's what I liked about this book. This just broke it down, and you understood their relationship,
Mm-hmm.
how, like, you really did. And uh, although Tevia says at your of the new 52
Tevia,
Super.
that's when it got bad. That's when Tomasi came. My problem with Tomasi is that there's going to be something. I'm going to go into this more when we reach the end of Arc 1. But there's a moment in the Wonder Woman book that there's an important thing that happens in the Wonder Woman book. I'm not going to go into it right now. But so something big happens in the Wonder Woman book, and Superman's fine with it. Then in that Truth Era book, Superman all of a sudden is pissed off and distant from Diana because of that event. So I'm like, where did this come from? In other words, Tomasi came in and haphazardly threw in a bunch of drama in the book for literally no reason.
Yeah, it like, I haven't read that far yet, but I did know that the guy who did the Truth Arc basically destroyed it.
Yeah,
Destroyed.
and I'll go more into it when we reach those issues. Because by the way, we're covering every issue of this series, even the really bad ones.
So we're covering from issue 1 to issue 29. I think it was 29, right?
29, somewhere there. Yeah, exactly.
So we'll be doing it every week. I think so. We'll be covering it every week, leading up to the leading. Just basically, we're talking about the comic, the panels,
Mm-hmm.
all of that good stuff. But honestly, I think the way the story was written for this was well done.
Mm-hmm.
Was
It was.
It was well written for issue one. I felt I felt invested. That's the
Mm-hmm.
one thing I'll say. You feel invested
From
in these
issue 1, mind you. 1, and it hooks you.
issue one. You're invested into it.
By the way, Pika brings up an excellent point. Shouldn't the editor have called out Tomasi for doing that? No, because it was it was also an editorial thing to get rid of this relationship, even though it was massively popular. So editorial was in on it.
So we've got a good question here, right?
Yeah.
If you was to make a comic book about yourself, what would you be about, and what powers would you give you, and who would your villain
Ooh,
villain mean?
that's an excellent idea. That's a good question. Jeez. Well, okay, so if you make a comic book about yourself or would like to be about, in terms of what type of superhero I would like to be, probably like the Superman like character, because Superman's one of my idols. I kind of see myself more aligning toward him, and that would be kind of like this.
Kind of like
And
this.
the villain would probably be more in the line of someone not as powerful as me, but just as smart, because that way you could have a real cerebral battle. Because a lot of what because Superman's greatest enemy is Lex Luthor, and even though Lex is a human and Superman is Superman, Lex is able to outthink Superman a lot of the times, and because you don't necessarily have to have to be as powerful as your villain in order to have a great hero villain relationship. In fact, a lot of the best ones are where the hero is non-powered or the villain's non-powered.
For me, it'd be like my characters to be similar to New 52 Superman in some way, shape, or form, but I have the powers of the Flash and powers of and the mind of Batman.
True. By the way, Tevia, the difference between this and Super Sons is that this was a massive seller. In other words, over like it's like over like the first issue was like 100,000, and then it declined a little bit, but thank you. But it maintained a very high amount of sales. Where Super Sons was a very well reviewed book. I'll give you that. It didn't have the sales to justify, because I think that if it was selling well, DC would have told Bendis, you have to bring it back.
Yeah. I have
Oblivion Tag. Nice,
PK. But
yes, that's
but
essentially the way that works.
But I feel like the universe for the New 52 for Superman and Wonder Woman, it kept the continuity going from other comics.
Yes,
like action
100%.
comics.
It
And it
felt
kept
like
the
it was
flow.
connected to the other books.
Oh, Tahira asked, do you have any crush on another superhero?
Wonder Woman. Who doesn't?
Well, who doesn't?
Who doesn't have a crush on Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
And Jessica Cruz, Green Lantern. We'll see her later.
For me, yeah, it's Wonder Woman and I would say Black Canary.
There's a theory among the men of the Justice League that every one of the men at some point has been in love with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Because it's Wonder Woman. Who would?
Who wouldn't? Tevia says, I would give myself powers of Spider-Man, Peter Parker, my boy
Well,
John
that's
Kent.
cool. Shame the 52 Tank Teen Titans. Yeah, Teen Titans was bad. I'm not going to back that book up. Plan my own comics, lay out the fourth draft. I already planned on my universe. Hey, it's fantastic.
Yes, that's fantastic, movie theater king. Yeah, Tahira. Yeah, like mine is like I did have a crush on Wonder Woman and Black Canary.
Black Canary. Oh, hell yes. It's for me, it's the same thing, Taladia. Wonder Woman or Black Canary, mostly Wonder Woman.
Mind you, this was like when I was younger.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt that Wonder Woman is played by Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
Can you blame me?
No, you can't. Like, yeah, Gal Gadot plays Wonder Woman, and then we also have Henry Cavill playing Superman, which currently was
Mm-hmm.
from 2013 to 2023,
Mm-hmm.
which will reiterate that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Plus, as well, like I could just imagine a Superman Wonder Woman movie with Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot.
So the next episode of Super Wonder Legacy, my exclusive Super Wonder podcast on my channel, will be Britt and I are going to outline a cinematic universe revolving around this,
Yes.
using the Snyderverse movies as a base, because I discovered she enjoys the Snyderverse movies. And I'm like, you'll fit in just fine here.
What?
Because you know what's kind of funny? Tevya, the amount of
Hey, you just call me Tevya?
Taladia, the amount of bullshittery that was levied against against the Snyderverse by Warner Brothers, exact same stuff that was levied against this by DC. Like, it's astounding how the parallels.
I cannot believe Brit is a Snyderverse fan as much as we are.
We were going into it. She's like, "Yeah, I want to see what he would. I want to see where he would go with that."
Dude.
Because you know why, dude? She's a fan of this, and this version of Superman is very clearly the Henry Cavill Superman.
Yes. I think, actually, speaking of New 52 Superman, how do you feel about New 52 Superman return in Sideways? And do you think DC will and why do you think DC didn't bring him back in the mainstream DC
Because
universe?
DC doesn't like that. Because DC editorial did not want to admit they made a mistake. Here's what you guys have to understand about DC editorial: they don't like to admit they screwed up, unless, of course, they're catering to a very vocal
Nice,
minority
dude.
part of Twitter. That's where you get DC Rebirth. DC Rebirth was essentially kicking this in the nuts. That's what it is. It was basically to say, we're sorry for ever considering the new 52, even though this initiative revitalized DC sales, and Rebirth didn't do it. Actual retailers, when you talk to actual retailers, they will say this sold miles better than Rebirth did. Imagine Marvel. Yeah, actually, Tavia, it's exactly that.
It's exactly that, yes.
It's basically that, 100%. And fun fact, so this is a rumor I learned from Britt. I trust her because she knows her stuff.
Yeah.
The rumor is where this would have gone had it continued was Donna Troy would have been the daughter of Superman and Wonder Woman.
No way.
First off, they would have had the wedding. Can you imagine how much the Superman and Wonder Woman wedding would have sold?
A lot of money, of course.
Yes. But yeah, so because Donna Troy has like the most confusing origins ever, and the new 52 didn't help. But what they did is the original idea was, let's make her the daughter, and she has to like grow up being the child of the two most famous and powerful superheroes. And how does that affect a kid? That would have been super cool.
That would have made Tevye pull his hairs out.
Oh yeah, exactly. And by the way, we sort of grabbed that idea for New Direction, except I also made her a Green Lantern.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'm an Amazonian with Green Lantern powers.
A half Kryptonian, half Amazon with a lantern ring. All right, Tevya, New 52 also did ruin Wally West. Yeah, it did.
It did.
It did. That's where they wanted to race bend Wally West because they didn't think anyone really cared about the character. They got backlash. So like, okay, we can't put it back because yes, it would have beaten that 100%. Didn't we have a Superman Wonder Woman having a daughter in Frank? Yes, exactly. We did. We had that. It was that, and also in Kingdom Come they have kids.
Kingdom Come and Dark Knight, the Dark Knight universe.
And the Dark Knight 3, The Master Race, is the one that has the best depiction of it. Don't read All-Star Batman and Robin, for the love of God. Do not.
Do
that
not.
That will drive you to pull your hair out. Yes, Dan DiDio, who was the publisher at the time, he didn't like a lot of the sidekicks and younger characters because he thought it made the older characters like look old. In other words, why does Batman have like a 20-year-old sidekick? It makes Batman look old.
But I feel when it comes down to this comic though, like the New
Yeah.
52, I feel like I think Superman and Wonder Woman in this universe made more sense than Superman and or Wonder Woman and Batman, let's say, or
Yes,
Arrow
it
and Black
does.
Canary.
By the way, Wonder Woman and Batman have never been a couple in the comics. Never. In fact, DC has repeatedly said it will never happen. What other couples you guys? I do Batman, Catwoman,
Yes, so do I.
Hal
The
Jordan, Carol Ferris.
Green Arrow, Black Canary.
Yes, 100%.
Nightwing and
Nightwing and I'm more on the Batgirl side of that, but
yeah,
our friend Nick is more in terms of a Nightwing Starfire. More power to ya.
but at least he's not with Harley Quinn. So
Yeah, exactly. Obviously Aquaman and Mira
yeah,
when she's not pooping the bed.
okay.
Mr. Miracle and Big Barter. They're from Apocalypse and all that. I've seen my last scene with me because well, Tevia, you do realize that the reason why, and I understand that, and I saw that coming, but Tevia, you do realize that Lois Lane is literally not essential for that part of for that reason. Because they had a kid also named John Kent in Dark Knight 3. He was named John.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Brainiac 5? Okay, I just want to be clear on that.
Yeah, Brainiac 5.
That's good. I like that. That's interesting. Tim Drake and Stephanie Brown. Yes. Raven and Beast Boy. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
That those two,
except for the Lois Lane, Tevia. It's a Tevia. Except for Lois Lane, you have excellent taste, my friend. What's the flower called in the comic book? The flower. Let me see. That's a good question, as a matter of fact.
That's a good question.
Tahira's asking a lot of great questions. I don't think he ever says. What he says is that it's a cutting from a plant he has in the fortress. And in fact, he says, it's beautiful and a little bit strange. It made me think of you. I'm like, oh, okay. But Dark Knight 3 Master Race was cold to him. No, he was not cold to humanity.
No.
You're thinking of Lara, their daughter.
Yeah, you're thinking about...
And the LGBT... No, because I don't really have an investment in that side of DC. Well, actually, Apollo and Midnighter.
Yeah, I don't really get into that side of DC for me.
If I have to pick one, it's Apollo and Midnighter. That's it. But yeah, Tevia, remember, John was a baby in that storyline. He was better in Golden Child. But more on that later, because what we could even do, Taladi, if you would like, is we could talk about the other comics as soon as we finish this series, where that happens, like Kingdom Come, Dark Knight Returns.
Yes.
And Tahira asked another, man, she's always asking all the great questions.
You're asking great questions, Tahira.
How would you rate this book out of 10? 10 for me.
10, definitely 10 for me.
Mm-hmm. And have you seen the One Piece show on Netflix? Nah, because I'm not really into One Piece. It's not my thing.
Not yet. I haven't seen the Ahsoka issue 4 yet.
I have. It's awesome. Actually, wait. Episode 4 is the one for this week. I haven't watched that one yet, but I've heard it's good.
Oh yeah, the Golden Child, where he felt cold to humanity.
He wasn't cold to humanity. What are you talking about? That was Lara.
Tevia.
He was even more like, you should give humanity a chance. Everyone is telling Lara to give humanity a chance, and she's cold to humanity. I think you need to reread Golden Child.
Yeah, I think you need to reread it, Tevia. But when it comes down to Superman Wonder Woman issue number 1, what I felt like, what draws me back to the comic, is just reading the action, when they're saving people, like how to save someone from the plane. Mm-hmm. The plane was about to tear apart. That was really cool to see. And what's also interesting as well is that at the ending you set to see Doomsday, not the Doomsday
This was
from the
the first time Doomsday was shown in the new
50.
52.
Yeah,
Now,
which
do you have? We'll find out in this volume. But do you have any theories about how Doomsday got out of the Phantom Zone?
no.
It's really cool. It's really cool.
Oh, I got no theories. The
You
only
find out Doomsday's origin is new 52 origin in the next issue.
Oh wow. Now you
Very
got me
cool.
excited. Now you got me excited.
It's very cool. Going to sleep now. My Batman Hush favorite share has a double cameo. Yeah, script has now been written. It's always the best video when I'm in it.
Yeah, maybe I'm remembering that wrong.
Mhm. Yes, I'm very certain it would, because that's one of the criticisms it gets on the book. The Golden Child gets, because Lara goes from, okay, I trust humanity, I don't trust humanity, I trust humanity, I don't trust humanity. Actually, you know what? I won't spoil what happens next with the Doomsday, because that story does lead into something confusing. It doesn't really. We'll break it down as we go. We'll
We'll
break it
break,
down
we'll
in
break
small
it,
chunks.
we'll break it down. And honestly, like the way I see it is like the next like issue two. We'll be doing it a weekly basis. Issue two, three, four, five. We'll be doing it like that, and we'll be breaking down each individual comic. And because Jared has read the comic so many times, right? He knows it like at the back of his hand. So it'll be great for great for him to kind of go, okay, I can not only scratch the surface, but I can go in depth into it.
Plus,
So
I know all of the DC's dirty laundry, so trust me, I'll be airing that throughout this entire series.
yeah, so it's like it's great. And what I want to know is from Jared though. This is the question for you, Jared. How do you feel about the impactful it had leading into other comics like Action Comics, Wonder Woman,
It was big. It
and
had a very, very, very big effect. It affected a lot of the storylines in there. Like Wonder Woman is talking about, she never really thought about life outside the Justice League until she met Clark. Superman talks about dating Diana and feeling like he can like be his full self around her. In other words, you felt the ripples of the relationship in the entire DC line. And very rarely does DC's publishing line feel in sync. If you could talk
uh,
to the writers, would you change anything? If not, why? If yes, why? Well, if I could talk to Tomasi, I would just ask, okay, you brought on this series, why? This was
why
selling
do it?
well. Well, in other
Why
words,
do
I
it?
would tell Tomasi, actually, if I could talk to the writers, I would tell Tomasi, you're going on a different book. Leave this one alone. Charles Sewell, finish your story. Finish your story. I like the Black Widow. Excellent choice.
Ex, ex,
Excellent choice.
excellent choice, Tahira.
It wasn't a mess, Tevia. It wasn't a mess.
Nope.
You just have people telling you it was a mess. Because trust me, there's a lot of hate on the new 50. Because with Superman fandom, here's what you have to understand: if it doesn't reflect their version of Superman, which apparently is the Silver Age, apparently, they will throw a tantrum, and it is a tantrum at this point.
So, but yeah, if I was able to speak to writers,
Hmm?
which Tahira asked before, I would tell the writers that look, why did you change the direction where it was going in the right direction? You went in the wrong direction, and why change it? It would have been far better off. Um,
And
and
by the
I
way,
would just,
I've talked to comic book creatives, and most of the people I asked are like, "Yeah, you know what? I can see this."
it's like, and also what I would say is like, I would change one thing from the New 52 comic though,
Mhm.
and that is the how I would maybe how long the issue is. I wouldn't make it 5 issues. I'll make it 10 issues.
You
That's the
mean, in
one
other
thing.
words, lengthen the issue? Oh, what's up,
Yeah.
Brit? Brit's in the
Hey, Brit.
chat. The Super
Hey,
Wonder
Brit.
book was held on the best books, balancing out the new 52 versions, understanding the positiveness of new 52. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. And no, I read. Tavia says no. I read them. Both series were a mess after Grant Morrison left. Okay, here's why they're a mess.
Yeah.
This I will agree with, because what happened is that DC had two different writers on Superman and Action Comics. Action took place 5 years before Superman, and they weren't communicating. So you can imagine how that doesn't help.
And as for do we like anime?
I
I
like
do.
some. I'm just getting into it.
He's just getting into it.
A movie theater says so. Your version is just spin of the New 52 economy, but in a different direction. Anyone here are gonna kill off permanently. Most superhero comics will always revive anyone convenient or to boost. We haven't gotten to the point where we're just killing off characters because our sales are great because we know that this would go up. There's an unpublished 30 to 31 that actually goes before. Yeah, there's more issues there.
Really, I have to check that out.
Do you like the superhero like them? Yes, I do. Those
Yes,
are awesome.
yes,
I
yeah,
love
those
those
are
so
awesome.
much.
Yeah,
I love
same.
those. They're so wholesome.
It's so great. Like if you like I remember seeing the Lego movie, Batman Lego movie. That was great.
I love that one. Why is he beating us? Because I'm Batman.
And Batman and Superman were enemies.
And it goes through all the different eras of Batman. You see like the Bale Batman, the BVS Batman. I have no idea there was. Yeah, Tavia, you'd be surprised how much of this history DC would like you to forget, so they could tell you that this was a failure when it was actually not. Kind of reminds you of the Snyderverse.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It does very much.
But it's like I said, when it comes down to the Superman and Wonder Woman characters individually, they sound really, really cool. More interesting than nowadays comics. Not gonna lie.
Yes, because they're actually trying something new. And you don't have Lois Lane shoehorning herself into the book just to make herself feel more important.
Movie Theater King says
any superheroes you got. Okay. And here's I don't want to spoil. Something's coming up in the New Direction verse that Jay and I have talked about. Yes. I don't want to spoil it. That will directly spoil something.
We're gonna wait until New Direction to
kind of. We'll wait for it. We'll wait for it, and what we might do is do a whole retrospective on either my channel or Jay's channel about the New Direction verse when we reach the end. But we're not there yet.
We're not even close to it.
What I will say is that there's no way DC would, unless we were the boss of DC, there's no way they'd let us do what we did in this universe.
No way, they wouldn't. It's crazy though, right? Like how, Superman is like his journalism and how his relationships with other characters like Cat Grant. I'm surprised we didn't even get to see Jimmy Olsen in this issue.
Did we in the New 50? I think he's more in the Superman book. I mean, heroes you would reject.
Obviously, John Kent. That's the first.
No, because the point of the New Direction verse is everyone gets a place at the table.
You cannot join a.
Yeah, the point of the New Direction verse was to give everyone options, not take away options. That's what DC did. They took away options. If you're a fan of Lois and Clark, hey, I gave you post-crisis Superman. He's still around for right now. New 52, if you want that Superman, he's there. There you go. It's all good. Oh yeah, we also got guys that's a plan the Super Son. Yeah. We will. Even pre-New 51 yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yes,
we do. Oh, yes. We
there's a reason behind that. There's a special reason why we like the Lego Batman too.
Yeah, and by the way, so here's the story behind this. So I was watching the movie recently, and we were getting ready for a stream, and then I hear this clip.
Batman doesn't do ships.
Exactly. I was just about to play it.
Clip.
I was just about to play it.
Yeah, I got you. I beat you there. I was like, nope, I got to do that. I'm surprised we never got a sequel. Me too. We need one.
Actually, there was a plan for a sequel, wasn't there?
I think there was.
But I just think like, so our plans are for Superman, Wonder Woman issue, the rest of the issues now, it's 9 p.m. BST every Tuesday. Sorry, so every Wednesday. Sorry, Wednesday at 9 p.m. BST.
Hmm?
We are going to be covering Superman. Okay.
And Wonder Woman.
Uh,
We're gonna do it issue by issue to really let you guys like enjoy the series, really take it in, and see how it builds.
yeah, because we want to go in depth into all of this stuff, and we want to give you a thrilling ride. So
Volume 2 is gonna be a little complicated because it's directly tying into an event that's going on with Superman. So I'm gonna be pulling double duty on that one.
yes, so we'll end it off here. But Jared, let's do our outros and let people
Okay.
know where you're coming from, because what you got coming up on your channel, and
So
let them know.
like I said before, on my podcast, Super Wonder Legacy, Britt and I, she was in the chat, are discussing how we would do a Superman and Wonder Woman cinematic universe of using the Snyderverse movies as a base, and then on Friday, we'll hopefully be recording it before Friday, but we're going to be talking about what superheroes would work in the Christopher Reeve Superman universe. And on movie night, we're discussing Alita Battle Angel. So, good day for the Alita Army.
Yes. So as for me, guys, I have got collabs coming up with Jay Heat. Me and him are going to be talking about Gamescom that happened recently, so we'll be talking about that. And also, I'll be on MME, which is Movie Madison Entertainment, on their channel over the weekend, as we are going to do some push drive for Dial and help him get up to 500 subs. And what else is there? Oh, that's right. Movie night, obviously with Jared, and also I'll be on Nick's channel for the Phoenix Press as as he does Spider-Man, and we criticize him for his
It's
gameplay.
so much fun. He makes it so easy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's so funny. You guys would laugh at the amount of times he fails at things. But that being said, though, I've been your host, Taladia Plays. You can follow me on Twitter at Taladia Plays _ on Twitter or X. You can also find Jared at Comics League JT on Twitter, and also Comics League on YouTube and uh, right, and Twitch,
Yeah.
right?
Twitch,
And
yes. And Comics League 2021 on Instagram.
yeah. And as for memberships, guys, I have got a members live stream coming up pretty soon. If you want to become a member, it's 99 cents. So there's that happening. And I'll also be doing members only videos planned up talking about the SAG strikes. How much of it will it affect the video games industry? If you want to become a member, there's a join button in the bottom below, which is cheap, and you won't need to worry about anything else. And also merch. Merch is now available. The Taladia Play merch store is open, so you guys can pick up the merch. So until then, guys, I've been your host, Taladia Plays. Jared, any final words you want to say?
Wonder Bat sucks.
No. We'll end it like this.
Batman doesn't do ships.
All right, we'll see you guys later. Peace.